Hi, welcome to Infosecfactory, and today we're going to talk about ransomware. And I hope you're ready because I'm going to give you a short introduction to ransomware, tell you what ransomware is and what it does. I will give you some examples of ransomware infections in the past that had a huge impact on society. I'm going to talk about ransomware gangs, and I'm going to talk about risks of a ransomware infection, and I will give you some tips to reduce the risk of ransomware infection. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert already because I'm going to discuss the settings of Microsoft Defender. So it will help you to enable settings to prevent ransomware. So you might want to stick around with this video till the very end, where you will get some good tips for enabling the settings for ransomware protection in Microsoft Defender. Let's get started. So what is ransomware? Ransomware is a type of malware that once it's activated on the network or device, it will encrypt all the files that you have on your device, on your computer. And basically what you have to do is pay a ransom. When you pay the ransom, you will get a decryption key. They will give you a decryption key, and then you can restore your files. So how does it work? So what attackers do is they try to gain access to your network, and by that time, they are looking for vulnerabilities in your network or on devices. And once they found it, they will deploy the ransomware and act. This is the activation part, the deployment of the ransomware. And once the ransomware is activated, it's going to search for maybe other devices in the network, which happened with NotPetya. And this is the ransomware version um, that happened with Maersk. Maersk got infected with the NotPetya version, and by hearing the stories how that went with Maersk, this was all very fast. Um, there's an article of Wired um, that's basically the story based on the truth on how it happened with Maersk, and how IT people actually stormed the boardroom, sorry, and were telling people to disconnect from the network and unplug all the cables. So completely craziness, chaos and mayhem. So if you would imagine being an IT worker and you have to go through the whole office and tell people to unplug from the network, just crazy, crazy. And by the time it was already too late, actually, they thought they could rescue some devices or servers on the network, but they were already too late, which we know by now. So when the ransomware is deployed and once it's activated and files are encrypted, uh, they will um, they will do a ransom demand to you, and you will get most times you will get specific instructions on how to pay the ransom, and it's usually in cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin. But I've heard about Monero also, that criminals are using Monero because it's more privacy minded, which is actually pretty funny because cyber criminals do like their privacy. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So here comes the question. That's uh, yeah, that's important for a lot of people because should you pay the ransom? And I can imagine if you have thousands of family pictures and videos or other things that are very important, like business documents. If you would have your own company and you would have very important documents on your network and they are encrypted, you want to get them back. So I can imagine that you were really thinking about paying the ransom and getting a decryption key and restore the files. But here's a warning about that, because in some countries, paying the ransom is actually illegal. Um, in the United States, you have to report ransomware. If you got hit by ransomware, you would have to report it, and paying the ransom is illegal there. So my advice would be not to pay the ransom and to always file a police report, because this is certainly a crime that you have to report, um, even though it's not really visible, like someone breaking and entering into a store or stealing stuff from a store, that sort of things. That's what we usually think of a crime. But yeah, infecting other people's computers, devices, servers with malware or ransomware is actually a crime. So my advice would be to go to the police and file a police report, um, and find someone who can help you with decrypting the files. There are some people out there that are expert in this field and can help people to decrypt their files. So here's another reason why I would not suggest to pay the ransom, because ransomware gangs, they really upped their game in the last few years. In the beginning, there was only ransomware infection. You would pay a ransom and you got a decryption key. But ransomware gangs have found out that you can actually triple extort someone when you had when you have a victim that was successfully hit with ransomware. I'm going to explain you what I mean by this, because um, when they deploy ransomware, the first thing that they are doing is they are exploring your network, and they are looking for devices, and they are looking for um, particularly large data sets. And when they found data, they are going to export the data to their own network or to their own servers somewhere in this world. So they steal your data first, then they encrypt your data, and by that time, you will pay ransom for to get the decryption key. But if they decide to extort you again in the future, they could say, "Hey, we have a sample of data," because I don't believe they will destroy the data sets that they captured from you, stole from you. That's a better word, because it's a crime. I think they they hang on to the large data sets that they steal from people or companies to extort them again later on in the future, because this is how it works. So you get a ransom for giving the decryption key, and later on you can extort the victim again by saying, "Hey, if you don't pay another ransom, we're going to publish all the data." And you can see here, this is a screenshot um, of a website from Logbit 3.0. And Lockbit is basically doing what I just explained. So what they do is first they gain access to your network, then they are looking for vulnerabilities on the network on devices. They will first steal your data. They will put a small set of data as evidence that they stole your data on their own website. Then you will get an email or a ransomware note saying that sorry. Then they will encrypt your files, and you will get a note saying that you can pay for decryption, and they will also give a link to the dark web, because this is a website on the dark web, to show you the proof that they actually stole your data. So that's how the the multiple extortion works. So let's get into examples of ransomware infections. This is Maersk, and this was in 2017. And the ransomware that was deployed was called NotPetya, or NotPetya, sorry. And we know now that this cost Maersk 300 million US dollars in losses. And it took them about 2 months, I think, to build up the whole new IT environment. So this is a more recent example. This is MGM Hotel in Las Vegas. And here you can see what kind of data was stolen. So you have full name, phone number, email address, postal address, gender, date of birth, driver's license, but also social security number and a passport number. So that's quite a lot what they got there, what they stole off on data. And MGM, I think they actually paid the ransom, which cost about 100 million US dollars. Can you imagine that? Wow. And here we have another example. And this one is probably very famous because this was about the Colonial Pipeline, and there was a ransomware infection that caused outages of the systems, which ultimately resulted in long lines at the gas station because there was not enough gas for people um, in the country and in the gas stations. So you can see that it cost a lot of money for Colonial Pipeline, um, either in losses for ransom maybe, but also because they couldn't they couldn't give supplies to the gas stations. So that was a loss right there, financial loss also. So I already explained a little bit about ransomware gangs, and I already gave an example of Lockbit 3.0, they call themselves. And here I have a top 10 of ransomware gangs. Number one would be Lockbit. Number two is Elf V Blackcat. I hope I'm saying that right. Three is the Club ransomware gang. Four is Black Basta. Five Play. Six Royal. Seven is 8 Base. Eight is Beyond Leon. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but you can let me know if if I did that wrong or not. Nine is Medusa, and 10 is No Escape. And this is very for people. This is very weird, and I'm going to explain you why. Because I'm going to explain to you the ransomware as a service business model, RAS. So what these gangs do is that they develop a program which basically means that you can um, click your own ransomware together as a total newbie or someone who doesn't know how to do that. It's that easy. And they have a program where you can click all things together and build your own ransomware. And they call that ransomware as a service. And if you would have such a builder, you could actually create ransomware yourself and give it a name and then deploy ransomware somewhere and take credit for that you created that ransomware. Of course, this is not a good idea. I have to mention that because it is a cybercrime, and a lot of countries do have laws and regulation to actually find people who deployed ransomware. So when you talk about ransomware as a service and all the gangs that I just told you about is in this top 10 right here, a lot of people are on the wanted list of the FBI because they have caused major damage to a lot of US companies, but also companies in Europe and Asia and other parts of the world. And they also, of course, they also infect normal users or people like you and me. So, yeah, I think it's fair that they are on the wanted list and that they are wanted and yeah, that they eventually will hopefully be found and face trial and get a long prison sentence or a very big fine or maybe even both. But that kind of, oh, sorry, I went back. Sorry for that. But that kind of explains how this weird cybercrime world of ransomware works. And these gangs, for example, Lockbit, if you decide to um, be part of the gang, which I would not recommend because of the reasons I just told you about, they actually have a sort of affiliate program, is what you can call it, um, and that basically means that they try to find other people that will distribute or deploy the ransomware that they currently have. And the way that it works is that if you would deploy ransomware somewhere, and the victim will pay the ransom, and the founders of Lockbit, so to speak, they will get a percentage of your earnings of the ransom. So that's how it works. It's really, really crazy, but it looks like a sort of sales and marketing structure like you would have in a normal business, except this is also a business, but it's cybercrime. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Well, what are the risks of ransomware infection? Well, of course, there's financial loss, and this is both if you would have a company, but also personally. If you would pay a ransom, then it's a financial loss, of course. And for a company, it could be more than just a ransom. Like I just showed you the MGM ransomware infection and Colonial Pipeline, there were huge losses because these companies were not able um, to service their customers and to operate their core business processes. So it's two times the financial loss right there. So there could be data loss like customer data or PII data, which is personally identifiable information. It could be confidential data, which your company or your organization considers confidential. and could be personal data. Could be a data breach. So these two are tightly connected together. You could have unrecoverable information systems also for your if for you personally. It could mean that you can't restore your files even though you paid the ransom and you got a decryption key. It's not a 100% guarantee that you can restore all your files. When you're talking about a company, um, you are talking about reputational damage, but also on a personal level, I could imagine reputational damage also, because they could have some data from you that you don't really want to be out there, to be published on the dark web or something like that. So there's a risk of being stored multiple times, like I explained earlier. And when a data breach happens, and there's a lot of email addresses leaked, for example, in a data breach, then it could be that customers of a certain company are going to face phishing campaigns for maybe a long time in the future, because once these email addresses are leaked, um, other cyber criminals could buy the data and they can start phishing campaigns and hoping they can enter somewhere, gain access to another company's network devices, and maybe steal data or ransomware. So yeah, a lot of risks here that I bullet pointed right here and wanted to discuss with you. So here are some tips to reduce the risk of ransomware infection. So always patch your information systems and update software. Basically, it means keep your laptop, computer updated with everything. If you have software going out of support, if it has updates, just update, patch. Use good and reliable anti-malware and antivirus software. I can't give you a real recommendation because you have to figure that out yourself, actually. Because I myself am using ESET, but it could be that you're much happier with Norton antivirus or McAfee. So that's more like a personal choice, if you would ask me. Invest in making backups, a backup scheme, and test backups regularly. So what I mean with invest, if you're a company, invest like the dollars, like having a good backup system, making backup schemes, and testing backups regularly. And when I'm talking personally, individually, there's software out there that can help you with creating backup daily or once a week or once a month, whatever you want. But it can help you with making a backup scheme and create backups. So in the case that when you do get a ransomware infection, you can get the latest backup and restore all your files. So talking about companies, invest in monitoring, detection, and response, SIM and SOC. So SOC is basically the response team that's monitoring the environment of a company with SIM tooling. And for individuals, if you have Microsoft Defender, enable ransomware protection. I'm sorry, I just seem to get back slides every time. Sorry for that. But we are at the good slide right now. So here is a screenshot of Windows security, and you can actually search for virus and threat protection settings. And the first thing that you have to do is to enable real-time protection. And that's this button right here. So you have to enable this setting. After you have enabled real-time protection, then you have to search for ransomware protection, which is also in virus and threat protection right here. And then you can click on Manage Ransomware Protection. So here you see another button, and this is for controlled folder access, and you will have to enable this setting. So this means that Microsoft Defender will protect your files from writing to it without permission, and also protects the folders. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned more about ransomware, what it is, and the tips that I gave you to prevent ransomware and to take precautions for if you would get infected with ransomware. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the top five of ransomware infections, and I hope you like this video. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Also, you can ask your questions in the comments, and I will happily answer all your questions. And for now, I'm going to wish you a very nice day. It's very sunny here in Holland, and I'm going to set up my barbecue, have a beer, and hope I will be able to create another video for you today or tomorrow. Till next time, thank you. Bye bye.